Thank you guys so much for your patience with all this. What's up, everybody? We're here on my channel now, just to see if we can get this working. It looks like everybody's visible. I'm gonna move my chat box out of the way. I'm sorry. Probably chat off screen. Clarity. But can you all hear us? That's the big thing. Everybody, quick test.
Hello.
Hello.
Check.
Check.
All right. I heard everybody. Chat, did y'all hear us?
Can't hear me. What?
Can't hear Liz?
Oh,
You guys
Liz
can
has
hear
bad
me.
luck.
I know.
I hear you. I hear you.
Okay.
No, there she is.
I was gonna say I
Please.
definitely hear Liz. Okay. All right.
There
All
I
right.
am.
Back.
What is the last introduction that you guys heard?
I believe it was Tyler.
I don't know if it crashed before.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Can you hear him now?
I'm
Just
here.
that better
Sorry.
now.
Oh.
Please. Oh, he capped. He capped. I didn't see the cap.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. I think we're back.
So,
Yay.
And hopefully we're gonna be able to stick it out. So welcome back to CounterCharm Podcast episode 5. Yeah, I think Tyler, you were giving us a little intro last.
yes. Sorry. So I'm solo this time. I have a YouTube channel. It's Technology Gaming. I do Twitch streams every once in a while. Instagram. Do a lot of photography stuff with gaming, and then yeah, I've only been doing this for about a year. I just wanted to dive back into my love of gaming about a year ago, and it's been a blast so far. And I do a podcast every Thursday, and both Liz and Sally are regular panelists on it. It's called the Tycast. We just do topics about video games. So yeah, that's me. Yeah,
Well, thank you. Okay.
of course. Thank you, Liz.
Tell us a little bit about your kids.
Oh yeah, so I have Fox, he's 6, and then Charlie is 2, and they are both wild and crazy, and 2 boys, and it's an adventure every single day.
Oh.
So yeah.
I think everyone said their kids, who their kids are.
So
I'm a mom too. I have 2 kids as well. I have a son. He's 8. will be 9 in a few months. And well, actually, next month already. I'm like, it's July. And then I have a daughter. She's 5. My daughter actually has a video game name. Her name is Renoa from Final Fantasy VIII.
Ooh.
That's from. Oh my goodness, I never put that.
That's
Yay, one of the main characters.
So
Sally,
cool.
did you say that your son had a video game name too?
It's daughter. It's my daughter. I wanted to name her Sora, but my husband was like, "Oh, it reminds you too much of Kingdom Hearts." And I'm like, if we had a son, I wanted to name him Sora, but we had the name Senna picked out, which was from an anime, this slice of life anime. So still within the video game anime world.
Aww.
that's awesome.
Does anyone else like a kid with a video game name or anime name or anything?
Well, my
Well-
daughter does. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean
No,
to
go
go
ahead.
over the top
No,
of you.
go for it.
My daughter's first and last name are actually named after a video game character, but it was completely accidental. And I don't want to say just for the sake of not giving her full name on stream, but accidentally, yes, I did name her after a video game character.
Aw, that's so cute. My sister, her son is named Raiden after Mortal Kombat.
That's awesome.
Great.
Nice.
I wanted Raiden also. I love that name.
That is great. I part of the reason why we named our son Fox is after a visit to Japan and the in in are we still good?
Yeah, we're still
Wanna
good.
double
I just
check?
gotta.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Fushimi Inari Shrine in Kyoto and experiencing that whole thing. There's several reasons, but that's one of them. And then when he started playing games, he demanded that his handle be Gooey Fox 15. And so, for a while in real life, he demanded that everyone call him Gooey Fox 15 instead of his name is Fox, which is just totally his personality.
So cute. I also have a friend who named his daughter Zelda.
Wow.
That's a
Like
It's always
Robin
a good one.
Williams.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So, when do all of you guys normally find time to game or stream? How does the schedule work for you? Do you find it stressful or exhausting, or do you feel like you balance it just fine?
I do great. I mean, I can't balance my schedule other than. No, I'm kidding. Go ahead. Somebody else.
It's hard. It's I usually can only play games at night. So I split custody with for my kids, and so during the week I can, but I work all like almost every waking hour, and so gaming is usually if I really just don't feel, if it's a procrastination thing almost for me. If I'm stuck on something work related, that's when I'll game. But it's almost always after 9 p.m. and usually on weekdays, some every once in a while weekends. But streaming, that's why I don't have a straight streaming schedule right now, is because it's completely unpredictable. And so and if I do, it would have to be super late at night, and I'm not ready to commit to that on like any regular basis. The podcast that I do is hard enough to commit to every single Thursday night, and so maybe soon. We'll see.
Yeah, it's really hard to have a set schedule, I feel, because if something happens, or even though usually my husband takes over taking care of our daughter at nighttime, if I hear her crying, my instinct is just to like go up and to see what's going on. But for me, I feel like I started streaming more after I had my daughter. Probably because I entered maternity leave, and here in Canada we get a year to 18 months off. So I was like, hey, I have up to 18 months off. I'm gonna take advantage of it. I put my daughter on try to get her on a strict schedule of nap time. So I'm able, if she goes down for a nap, then I'm able to game, I'm able to stream. So
Yeah.
that's how I try to work it.
Okay.
For me, it's my daughter is 10 and a half, and I've been raising her by myself for the majority of her life. And so I've been streaming for just about 4 years, and it kind of is the whole late night schedule thing. At first it was super hard to kind of commit to get my own sleeping schedule like worked out because I work full time as well. I do have a set schedule, but it really is the most ridiculous hours, like when people should be sleeping. Because when she was younger, she went to bed a little bit earlier 4 years ago, but now she's getting older and wants to stay up later and doesn't want to sleep as much. And so we went from starting streams to about 8 o'clock at night to about 9:40 at night now. And that's pretty much what it is just streaming super late at night so I can work and parent and do all the rest of the normal things in the daytime when the sun is still shining.
Mm-hmm. I feel
Yeah, I don't stream anymore, but I did stream when I was on night shift. So again, nighttime. I went from a 12-hour 3 or 4 day week shift to now I'm day shift, regular Monday through Friday. So it's more work that gets in the way than the kids.
Mhm.
But that's me. Now gaming is just after work, usually with my wife, or over the weekends with the kids.
Yeah.
Fine.
Um.
Yeah.
Yeah. For me, I used to have like a schedule, a set schedule. It'd be like a couple times a week at night, usually like at 9 p.m., like after the kids go to bed. So I'd put them to bed at 8 and then get ready to stream. I'd have like one weekend day and I would just like give the kids stuff to do to keep them busy. And I'd be like, just let me stream for a little bit. But I started streaming less like when I started getting busier with work, and then it was just too exhausting to go to work, come home, be busy with the kids, and then stream. I was just too tired. So I mean, I guess I kind of have a set schedule. I do it every Tuesday night and usually Sunday afternoons. Right now, I don't have the kids. I also have shared custody. Um, I usually have the kids full time except for breaks. So the kids have been with their dad for summer break. I'll be getting them back soon. So I've been able to like stream on Sundays, stream some Monday nights, but we'll see how my schedule will be when they come back, which will be like in the next week or so. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, at times I felt like I could keep it pretty balanced, but other times it did start getting exhausting trying to just keep up with it all. So that's me. Do you guys wish that you had started streaming before you became a parent?
Yes.
I started streaming in 2017, but I started streaming on my MacBook Air, and that was a disaster. Then I eventually got a gaming laptop, and then I needed to upgrade my mic and my camera, so I just kept procrastinating and upgrading all my things, and it was just hard. I would just stream so sporadically, and then life happened. I was getting married, then we were moving, and I would just stream a couple times a month. And yeah, so that's how I started. And ironically, after I had a baby, I started streaming a lot more.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anybody else start before?
I didn't, but I was kind of like out of gaming for a solid like 6 years, while like I was, I played music for a living for a while, and which made it pretty much impossible to play anything except for like FIFA in the bus or something. There was no way to really maintain it at that time. And then I didn't really get back into gaming until about 2018. And so there were about 6 or 7 years, and I got married, had kids and everything, and I was focused on other things at the time, and that's why I decided I was like, I need to dive back into gaming, and it took me until 2020 to really like do it officially, and I don't think I had streamed at all until this year. So I wish I would have gotten into it, 10 years ago. Or if that was even a thing. I don't know. When I was so late on the whole thing. I was so late on all of it.
Which has been around since
2011, I think.
2009. Oh, is it 2011?
2009.
It,
I thought it
it
was
could it could be a
2011.
little later than that, but I do know that it's been around for a bit. And most of the ones like kind of crazy partners. and such
Yeah, the
went,
early ones. Yeah.
they were the early. Okay. That's good to know though. Do you think that it's realistic for someone to aim to be a full-time streamer while also maintaining parents?
What does a full-time streamer mean? Like, how many hours a week?
Probably like 35, 40 a week.
Yeah, I'd say like at least like 6 to 8 hour stream days or something
Oh.
like that.
I think
know.
if I was doing it at night, maybe, because my daughter goes down 8 o'clock, but even before then, my husband's taking care of her. So if he was taking care of her for the whole evening, then I can, but then you sacrifice other things as well. You
Like
know?
sleep.
Yeah, especially sleep. If you need to work full time for an income,
Yeah.
there has to be a way to, because if you're spending 8 hours a day working full time, 8 hours a day
Oh,
streaming,
yeah.
that leaves 8 hours for sleep, and
Yeah,
or
I'm
maybe
saying this
less.
as being on maternity leave, so I'm not
Yeah.
working right now. I can't imagine working and you come home, you're tired, you're exhausted, you have to cook dinner, and then you want to spend time with the baby, the kids, and then
Well, this
put them
would
down.
be like instead of a job. So like
Oh,
streaming
Replace
would
your
be
full-time.
your full-time job.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's true. I think
Yeah.
it could be doable. I mean,
I
I'm
guess
speaking
it's-
as
Yeah,
someone.
simple, yeah.
I'm speaking as someone with a 7-month-old who's not yet crawling and creating chaos in the house yet. So we'll see in a few months how that turns out.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of people work from home anyway and
Yeah.
do like 8 hours of office work at home. So they
Yeah,
can
I
really
definitely think it's possible. I think for a lot of folks, though, and because in order to grow, right, in streaming, it's more than just spending time streaming. It's spending time in other people's streams. It's exposing yourself to other social media platforms. It's making connections, and so I definitely think it's possible. But if you're having to work full time and you're trying to build your stream, I definitely think it's uphill. It's an uphill
Yeah.
battle, but it doesn't make it impossible.
Yeah, there's a certain amount of luck involved. Also, I feel like but the networking thing is huge, because I feel like the people who are most successful spend at least 50 to 100% of the time that they are actually streaming or producing content, interacting with others that are doing the same to make those connections, which is something that a lot of people don't account for.
Yeah, last year we did an episode on Twitch burnout, and we did mention like you're not just streaming, but you're also having to keep up with Discord, your Discord server, building that community, keeping up on social media. So especially if you currently have like a full-time job in the meantime while you're trying to work your way up to becoming like a full-time streamer. Sure, it's hard, but I don't know anyone currently who's done it, but props to them.
Yeah, really. It's
Yeah.
tough.
Oh, that sounds tough.
I mean, I'm looking at Tyler managing his kids right now, and I'm like, I don't think I'd be able to. I would be focused on my girl running around back there, like, no, don't touch that, don't do this, don't do this. I don't think I would be able to focus
Yeah.
on one thing.
Yeah, my rug's all blue right now.
And why is that?
I turned around and he was squirting a juice box into a cup that he found, and apparently missed all of it while we were getting set up.
Oh,
All right.
Yeah, that was you. That was you.
There's a
There
little
you
insight
go.
into that.
There you go. Anybody watching who wants to get into Twitch,
Yeah, that's why you can't stream while they're awake.
You take your
Yeah.
eyes off of them for 1 minute, and that's all it takes.
Yeah, ruined rug. Hopefully, I caught it quick enough. That's why I was late getting into here. It's because I was cleaning the rug.
You're totally fine.
Uh,
Um, for those of you who have a partner, was your partner always supportive about you streaming or the amount of time that you game or stream?
Well, yeah, when I started streaming, my husband was really supportive of it. I mean, he would never stream. He's not into being on camera and all that, but he's very supportive. And when I do Tyler's podcast on Thursdays, I let him know that, oh, I'm doing his podcast, and he knows that he's going to take over and he's going to tend to my baby for the rest of the evening. So it's very
That's great.
supportive, really, really good. If I want to stream a night, then he'll be like, okay, you're going to stream tonight. That's fine. I'll take care of the baby and all that. As long as I give him a good heads up.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you, Sally, and thank you to your husband for to say that.
Yeah.
You guys are adorable. I watched your wedding video.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
the most amazing thing I've ever seen.
Video gamey wedding.
Yes, it looked like an absolute rager of a party.
It was.
What about you, Eric?
She's was supportive leading to. I mean, it was going to be while she was sleeping, anyways, while the rest of the family was down. Basically, I just said I'd do it on my own time. I mean, for now, she's like, for example, she's got all three of them corralled downstairs, trying to keep them at bay. But yeah, we never had any issues with it.
That's good.
right on.
Have any of you ever considered keeping the fact that you're a parent private?
Oh. No. Definitely not.
No,
Yeah.
I mean,
My-
it's fun to show off that you have a cute baby.
That's true.
True.
yeah, my main channel, like the non-gaming stuff. Sorry, they are loud right now. My non-gaming stuff, it kind of corners around like being like a parent and also like a tech enthusiast. Like this whole like tech dad thing that I was doing. I still am doing, and so they are featured prominently in my other channels, and I cross promote a lot, and so the being a gamer dad type of thing is kind of I've leaned into that hard, and so not at all.
It's so great, when I met Tyler and you guys, it's great to, meet other people who are parents who do gaming, who also do streaming. It's great just to meet other people who are in the same boat as you, who just kind of, without even discussing it, we just kind of know what we're into, that we may not have time to game, that we're busy with the baby. We're just kind of, we understand each other, where we're coming from. It's great to be in that community of that we're either married, we are dog parents, or we have kids. It's just good to be part of that community.
It's funny. I just remembered one of my because I do YouTube videos, and one of my main videos, it was actually about these headphones, about how I got back into gaming, and my first thing was to search for like gamer dad groups before I even was thinking about doing content creation for it or anything, and because I was like, I need people to not like rely on me. I need like people that understand like my limitations with this, and that's what actually got me back into gaming. Yeah.
Aw.
He's here.
It
Oh,
definitely
cute.
makes it easier when you're gaming with people who can relate and understand that,
yeah.
as important as gaming is to us in our lives and how much we enjoy it, we still have duties and responsibilities to take care of outside of that. And it's so nice to be able to communicate with other people who are like, oh, she's with her kids today, or,
Mhm.
he's got dad duty today, or, whatever the case may be. It definitely makes it easier. To connect with other people that way. And I've never really considered hiding it myself. My daughter sometimes is part of my streams because she's old enough to kind of understand gaming and communicating with chat. So sometimes on a Sunday we'll play like Fortnite together and things like that. And it's really great when you start to build those solid communities within your streaming too, because like when, I stream at night, we're a little wild sometimes. The language isn't always watched as much, but when I'm streaming with my daughter, everyone knows, right? That it's like, okay, she goes by Mini Cuddles on stream. And so everyone knows, oh, Mini Cuddles here today. And so then everyone is super aware of like how they're talking and how they're behaving. And it's super unique. Like I never thought I'd discover anything like that when I had started streaming.
Oh, I love that.
That's it may be a perfect segue into the next.
Oh, do you plan to, or have you introduced gaming to your kids?
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, my
actually,
daughter
we went
has-
too far ahead. That's my bad.
Oh, are the questions out of order? Should we wait?
Oh no, it's actually fine. That one's perfect.
My daughter's been gaming with me since forever. One of the ways I used to put her to sleep when she was a baby is she would love to lay on my chest and I would kind of lean back and I'd be playing Assassin's Creed or Call of Duty or, and so it's kind of always just visually been a part of her life. And then one day, she picked up the controller and she was curious to see how it worked. And right now she's on the other side of the curtain playing The Sims by herself right now. So that's kind of where we're at 10 years later. I think it's really great to have a shared hobby with your child. And I really think that it's important, especially when it comes to gaming, to be a part of whatever your kids are gaming, even if you yourself are not a gamer, just because you do communicate with a lot of people online and there's kind of like an etiquette and things like that sometimes, it's kind of hard to, watch over that or understand if you're not somehow engaged with it. So I love that she loves to game with me. She's, not at that age yet where she's embarrassed to be gaming with me or be seen with me in public or anything yet.
Right? That's always the fear, right? When they get older and they're just, embarrassed.
What
Yeah,
about
I
you?
think I introduced my oldest a little too early because I never had that, what you just described, where they would just let you chill and play. Mine always had to have the controller, and the controller had to you couldn't take the batteries out because it had to light up. He had to know like this is doing something. But he's gotten older now, and we've gotten to like the Lego games he can play, and he's actually almost halfway through the new Link's Awakening now. So
Nice.
that's
That's not an easy game to get through.
No, I was surprised. I was thinking he was going to get through like maybe the first and then get stuck. And what I've discovered with the Lego games is he's okay starting over and over and over. Like he'll play a session, get to where he got, and then put it down, and the next day he'll just start a new file. So I thought we were going to be doing that, but he's actually making his way through with a lot of help, but I haven't actually taken the controller yet.
I look up a strategy guide like pretty early in that game. I was like, what do I do? How do I get into this castle?
Especially the
Yeah.
Harry Potter one, saying
Those are good. Yeah.
Oh, it's so necessary for Zelda games to look up a walkthrough.
Yeah. Yeah. My 6-year-old is back there. He's taken over that's my work desk. It's now turned into his gaming desk. So he plays Roblox, but actually I made another video. You guys are keying in on my videos. Where it's okay. His first experience with gaming was really Kirby, because he just understood the controls. I had Kirby Return to Dreamland on the Wii, and he was able to turn the Wii remote sideways and use the D-pad, and he would just spend, to admit it, he just loved sitting and playing Kirby, and he worked his way through, and we beat that game together. And my other one wants to chime in with he's playing. Yeah, I hear you. But yeah, but he quickly got into Roblox, and so that has become something major for him. He loves everything Roblox.
I will definitely have a question about the Roblox side of that later.
Okay.
But I am curious now, kind of, since sort of segueing into the question I was originally gonna ask here. What video game were you or are you most excited to show your kids?
Everything Zelda.
I agree. Everything Zelda, everything Mario. I really do want to start my daughter on the stuff that I started with. I wouldn't want her to start with the new generation, absolutely beautiful, video
Graphic.
games that we have today. Yeah, exactly. The beautiful graphics we have. I'd love her to
Started with the
see
things to pro appreciation, right?
exactly. I want her to appreciate and see what I grew up with. I want her to see the old 8-bit and Atari and the old arcade games that I really love to play, and that's all I had when I was growing up. If she could start playing that, I would love to show her that. And
Your
just,
name is Retro Arcade.
exactly. Have to live up to the name.
That is a must.
That's
For me, it'd
honestly
be.
such. Oh, sorry, Liz.
Go ahead. I'll go after you.
That's actually such a great idea. With my daughter, I did not do that. I kind of did it backwards, where she saw some of the newer stuff and then saw some of the older stuff. And I'll admit, once in a blue moon, she'll pull out the GameCube and she'll play the GameCube, but she won't play anything from before that. Anything. And so sometimes, and I've not had to do this for a very long time, but when she would get frustrated with a game, because they have infinite lives now, they have all kinds of things that we didn't have growing up. I will I used to occasionally pull out the old Nintendo and I'd put in the Jungle Book or Lion King, and then she, wasn't so frustrated at the game she was playing anymore because that was so much harder.
Yeah. We had
Which-
we had it a lot more difficult growing up with the no save states, no save, checkpoints and whatnot. So I'd rather my daughter learn to, this is what you have to build up to it. You have to restart a level once you die. If you game over, that's it. You have to restart the whole level.
Yep.
We have it so easy now.
Yeah, that actually was one of my next questions. Was do you think kids should start with older retro video games to see and experience the evolution over time, or start with newer games? So you pretty much covered that.
Although the thing, what's funny is because my son started with Kirby Return to Dreamland, and then he's like, what was before? He started asking questions like, okay, what is this one? Like, and we ended up going back, and he wanted to play Kirby All Stars, and so it's not completely lost if they start on a future one. Although the Kirby Star Allies was the main reason why I bought my first Switch for him, which I took over. But he wanted to play Kirby Star Allies after we beat Return to Dreamland, and so but he also wanted to play the old ones too. But I agree, though. I think starting them with the retro stuff is good. I made the mistake of having the Wii hooked up first.
I'll cover the last couple questions. So I've always been into gaming ever since I was young, and my ex was a gamer too. So we've always been a gamer family. When my son turned 1, his birthday party theme was chocobos. So I had like a custom-made chocobo cake from Final Fantasy, if anyone knows. I had a custom-made chocobo cake, and I had my cousin like this chocobo poster that said "Happy Birthday," and yeah, it was a lot of fun. And yeah, like ever since then, I've introduced them. Like I've had the Wii and the Wii U, so I had him like join in with Mario whenever me and my ex would play. And then when I think last year I got him his own Switch Lite. My daughter's turning 6 next year, so I'll probably get her own Switch Lite. So we've definitely always been a gaming family. I did get him started with Roblox as well. But yeah, I want to introduce them to like the Final Fantasy games that I grew up with. I don't know. I mean, I've already introduced him to a lot of newer games, but I do hope that when they're a little older, they'll be willing to go back and play like a lot of the games that I love when I grew up with. I did introduce him to Super Mario RPG, which was like my
Oh.
first RPG game, and he actually enjoyed that. So I need to finish that with him. But yeah, that's been my experience.
So cool.
What about you, Aaron? How are your kids with gaming?
As far as the graphic, like we made the mistake of starting with all the new stuff. So
Mhm.
he plays the new stuff, and then I'll put in like something old. Like we try to get him to play. We wanted to let him play Pokemon, right? So the new Pokemons have 10,000 things going on nowadays compared to back on the first couple Pokemon. So we took one of our 2DSs, loaded up an old one of the, I think it was one of the original 3 Pokemons, and tried to show him that, and he kind of looked at it. He was real super excited, played it for a little while, but quickly lost interest, much faster than other things, the newer games.
Yeah.
But I'm
That's
trying
easy to
different things. I since he's playing Link's Awakening, I wanted to pull up Link to the Past in on the Switch library, and I also found he's picked up reading quite a bit now, so he's really into graphic novels. So I went on Amazon, found the Link to the Past graphic novel, bought that for him, and gave it to him, and then later that day, or I think the next day, pulled up Link to the Past on the Switch, and he's like, "What? This is my book!" And so he's a bit more interested in that now. So it's kind of just taking a different approach at it.
Now, when you say you
So-
got him started on the week, talking about the Switch version or the original?
Yeah, the Switch version.
Yeah, I would say with some games, for example, Pokemon, if they, I don't know, like if you introduce them to the newer ones, it'd be hard to like bring them back to like the originals.
Yeah.
But some games like Super Mario RPG, like there's no current game like it. Like that's so unique. What about you, Plans? Like when you have kids, like
So,
what
yeah.
games are you gonna introduce them to? And like, would you start with the older ones or newer ones?
Older for sure. I full disclosure, I am not a parent myself. But I have obviously thought about that sort of thing, down the road and stuff. And that's actually one of the reasons that I appreciate Nintendo as much as I do, is that Nintendo really kind of captured just all the family-oriented games that you possibly want, and did a really great job of, really getting into games. So, of course, things like Mario and Zelda are definitely at the top of the list. I'd love to eventually be able to like sit down and show my kid Metroid and Kirby, Luigi's Mansion, like going through all those classics. I'm a big Nintendo fanboy, of course, but there's plenty of other games from like Spyro's technically on Nintendo now, but like Spyro was one of the ones that I started out pretty early on. I probably won't start them off on like my brother did, but yeah, there's loads that I like. For the biggest majority of my youth, gaming was one of the things that my own folks were usually like, gaming's kind of a waste of time. You're not really getting anything from it. Spending a lot of time doing something not netting. That never deterred me, and over time, I feel like gaming has actually been quite beneficial in a lot of ways. And so it's something that I'm absolutely for carrying down the road, especially with some like the handheld stuff too, Game Boy Advance, DS, all that. I've got a PS Vita that has like games on it too, and so yeah, at some point, I'm looking forward to kind of sharing all of it, but I'll definitely start at the beginning. Like y'all said, it's a learning experience in itself. For you, getting that opportunity to find out what it's like to, get super far in Super Mario Bros. 1 just to die and have to start all the way over.
Oh yeah.
That was brutal before we finally got any kind of save. But again, not to just be all about Nintendo right now, but like their online stuff too with the SNES Online and the NES Online definitely gives us a cool opportunity as well, because they'll be able to play those things while also having the ability to manipulate it. Like, got the save state mode, so you can like rewind up a certain amount of time, try again. So, I think it's a good opportunity, and one day.
Yeah, the co-op stuff is key. The like Luigi's Mansion, me and my son played that, and then now that my son, he's reading a lot now, and so he just dove into Animal Crossing out of nowhere because he was always intrigued by it, but now he can read all the dialogues, and so he's like, oh, it unlocks a whole new world of gaming once they're reading.
Yeah,
which
reading's
I
huge.
didn't make that connection until he kind of started exploring more games where he could now read the dialogues.
Oh,
Oh.
yeah. Nintendo is great with that, for putting out the family-friendly games that you could play with co-op, you could play with other people, the whole family. So it's great to have
Mhm.
Nintendo, like Wii consoles, even the Wii U, the Switch. It's great to play with the kids.
Yeah. Yeah, I think this is a great time to have young kids and be able to experience all of this with them. Now that we have all this access of games and all these co-op games that we can play with them. Because I've had a lot of good moments. So would you guys say that you're glad that you kind of were born into the generation of gaming that you're born into, or do you wish that you when you were younger had all the access to all the games that we do now?
I personally feel like I was born into the perfect time of gaming because I was I turned 10 when when I was 10, it was the SNES and Genesis and the PlayStation and N64 were about to come out. It was I feel like that was kind of that golden age where it was just competition was at its max. The first console I bought on my own was the Dreamcast that I was just pumped on, and I was getting into high school, and then I worked at EB during the next generation, and then and so I feel like I've experienced all of the amazingness. And when I was young, I had an NES and an Intellivision, and so I feel like I got a touch of almost everything throughout my childhood. Now I kind of returned. I kind of missed a lot of the PS4, Xbox One, and some of the end of the 360 and PS3. I had a Wii and a 360. I had actually all of them, but I just didn't play a lot. And so now diving back in, I feel like I'm getting this whole renaissance of stuff that I missed out on over the last 10 years. So yeah, I wouldn't have picked a better time for me.
I feel like I had a really different experience growing up because I just grew up on the NES, and that's all I guess we could afford. I wouldn't, we didn't have a lot of money growing up, so I wouldn't have dared to ask my mom for an SNES or an NC. I didn't even know what those were because we didn't have internet back then, so I didn't even know those existed. But I think it was good for me because I stuck with playing 8-bit games, arcade games until I was a teenager. And when I was 18, I got a Wii. And it really made me appreciate the shift in graphics from coming from playing side scrollers, 8-bit games, and now I'm seeing these amazing advancements that they're doing. And every year I'm noticing how crazy it's becoming. Every new game, from games that are just 5 years old, 10 years older, you're seeing how more lifelike they're becoming, and everything is running seamlessly. I remember playing a Simpsons game on Xbox where they would do the what do you call them, the story mode or the cutscenes, and it would be like regular Simpsons, and then they would go back in games and they would turn back into a polygon mode. And now that's different. Now it's just seamless. Whatever the cutscene is, it just transitions right into the gameplay mode. And just to see that, I just feel like I have a more bigger appreciation for it, and I just notice it that much more, and I appreciate it a lot more, just having my whole life playing 8-bit games and the lower quality games. So yeah, I'm glad that I grew up in the time that I grew up, because I feel like it's more significant to me to see these upgrades.
I agree. I wouldn't change it either. I grew up primarily with Nintendo when I was younger. My first system was a Nintendo and then Super Nintendo and so on and so forth. And seeing the progression, I don't think I actually even had access to playing an Xbox until I was in middle school. And that was kind of a cool transition just to see how different that was. And one of my best friends growing up, his family grew up with PlayStation. So like he'd come over and we would play like, GoldenEye on the Nintendo, and then we'd go over to his place and take turns playing Crash. And then just seeing the way things developed over time, I don't know. I feel like for me too, it was kind of at the peak time where there were I got to experience so many different levels of gaming and graphic upgrades and, multiplayer to online multiplayer and all of those things. I wouldn't change it at all. And I kind of wish kids today kind of got to experience maybe that transition a little bit more because things are so, seamless. They're so flawless, and while everything, of course, is improving, it just doesn't feel like it's quite improved the way from when I was younger to now, like all the changes that we got to see happen in gaming.
I like both sides. I like what you guys have been saying. Like, I also grew up, I think, right at the perfect time where I got to rage through all of the hard NES games and then experience everything changing, coming up, all the graphics. But at the same time, I think I can't imagine how great multiplayer would have been with all my friends as a kid nowadays.
Oh yeah.
Like, that's going to be amazing when my kids are, 13, 14, or when like all of them, right? They all grow up and get to that age where the whole house can play Rocket League together. Or we can all play Mario 3D World or whatever all together. The other part is if only I would have had a parent that played video games. Like even today, if the game involves more than 1 or 2 buttons, my dad's gone. Like no, like just he is not coordinated. His thumbs can't do anything. But yeah, from those two perspectives, that was
actually in furthering commitment Nintendo thing, but like even though I'm a bit of a collector myself, part of the reason that I got these bad boys was because I knew that this was a way to like get things started down the road. Like I'm gonna hang on to these for a long time. It's the SNES, the NES Classic. I'm sorry, the blur is getting in the way right now, but these had a lot of the original games and everything on it. Like so, this I feel like it's a great get kids going at some point. But it was also for me the SNES what I started. One of my favorites. That might have been because I bumped my mic, Colette. Sorry. But yeah, the new and the old, like I definitely would not wish on anybody today to have to do a LAN party. As fun as those were back in the day, they were a nightmare to set up.
Yeah,
Online
when I grew
multiplayer
up,
now.
I just had a handful of SNES games. That's what I started with. But I like play those games so much and I really grew to love them. And I do think it also makes me appreciate like the games back then and the progression that we've had since then. I feel like if I was born into a time where I have had all this access to all these games now, I would have missed out on like some really great games and just not appreciated things. But yeah, I mean, it could have been fun, like playing with my friends as a kid, playing multiplayer games, but I could do it now, so it's fine. I have a great time doing it now.
Yeah.
What Aaron brought up, like, and plans, he also mentioned it too. Were your guys' parents gamers at all?
Oh no. Not mine.
The resounding
wish.
no here was amazing.
I wish.
Not at all.
No.
Well,
We'll be
for
the
my
cool new generation.
Well, honestly, we will. My dad was a gamer, but he was not really around to game with me. His love of gaming was mailing me a Nintendo 64 from Idaho, never playing it with me, but it was fine because I played it a lot. And now I actually have 2 Nintendo 64s. Don't ask me why.
Okay.
And my mom wasn't really into gaming, but she kind of sparked my love for gaming. She didn't like that I was watching so much TV, so she cut cable and I just played video games more. So she occasionally would try to play, but she was not very coordinated. Her thing kind of was Harvest Moon, and that's about the limit, maybe Animal Crossing. But I will say that I don't know if you guys remember the game Rampage. I was super into that game, but it's just like endless repetitive levels that take 5,000 years to actually get to the very end of that game. And I was so determined to beat it one night. She did finally stay up all night with me. It must have been like 2, 3 in the morning. And I did finally beat that game with her. But that would never again after that. she went right back to Harvest Moon and called it good.
Oh,
Yeah, my
Rampage
parents were
was classic.
supportive of. Yeah, Rampage is amazing. Every iteration of that. My parents were supportive, but not like involved in it. I would show them something and be like, oh, cool, and I think they grew up in the arcade generation, and so they understood it. And like my mom was a big fan of like Kicks and like some of the puzzle games and stuff, but that was kind of the extent of it. And it was kind of they were fully like they would fully embrace like that I was really into it growing up. So that was good enough.
I think my mom was the same growing up. She didn't get it. She wouldn't play, but she knew that the NES was my prized possession. And I remember we would have like her friends' kids come over and they would be like, oh, you know, I remember them asking my mom, oh, can I take your Nintendo? And I remember her saying, no, Sally's gonna kill you. So I'm like, I'm glad my mom was on my side to keep, you know, not let any random kid play my game or take my game. So she understood the appreciation I had, which was
Nice.
good.
yeah. Yeah, my parents weren't really gamers. I do remember my mom being the one to introduce me to Super Mario RPG and like me watching her play it for a little bit. So I think it was like good memories, and I'm glad that like our kids get to grow up with gamer parents who will play games with them and just have like these memories that they'll hopefully appreciate when they're older. Let's see. One thought that I just remembered about like what we had to deal with growing up though is I remember that, you know, since like growing up we didn't really have cell phones and like the internet access that we do, because when I was young I had like AOL and we could only log on like a certain amount of hours a day. But like when I got stuck on video games, like I would like go online and I would print out like 20, 30 pages of like game facts or walkthroughs. And
Oh
like
my
I just,
god.
yeah, like I just remember like just having like sick like groups of papers of like different.
I didn't even do that. I mean, there was a point where we got Windows 98, but I never went. I think it's just kind of ingrained to me growing up that I didn't have internet growing up while playing games. So when I get stuck on a level, my first thing is never to go online and look for it. I just be like, no, I gotta either I figure it out or I close
Yeah.
the game and I revisit it another time. My first thing won't be to, oh, I gotta look up a walkthrough, you know. But yeah, boy,
I played a
when
lot of RPGs. I remember doing that for Super Mario RPG. Probably not like normal platforming games, but
Somewhere
definitely
around
games.
here,
so useful.
I've got an old Nintendo Power magazine that had the full map of Zelda Link to the Past on it, and I used to
wow.
use that all the time to get my way through. But oh, look, we got a kiddo joining us.
Yep, the little one.
He's a
Future
cutie.
gamer.
2 kiddos. I saw him pop up there.
Yeah, he's discovered that he can he can come in here, and then he can see himself come in here on the phone. Called latency.
Is he
What a
watching the stream? Aw.
Catherine's watching it in the other room.
That's awesome.
Aw.
Oh, with the
Right.
latency, I
So-
get it. Nice.
Yeah. So
That was
So I
nice.
did have internet and I never thought to look up a guide once. And looking
Yeah.
back, that seems so silly now because I will sometimes if I like absolutely have to as an adult. But it never even crossed my mind that I had access to any of that information having internet because I guess I didn't use it that much.
Mhm.
Mhm.
But I did want to share that I still have this guide, which I know that there is a blur and you guys can't see it.
Pennsylvania.
And
Oh, yeah.
It's definitely seen better days, but you know, I keep it for the memories.
Yeah, definitely.
I actually have a bookshelf that right behind me that's end to end with strategy guides that I've acquired over the years because similar to you, Tyler, I worked at GameStop for like 4 years.
Yeah.
But yeah, keeping those around, having them for like down the road just to kind of show because you know we only had like either the physical strategy guides or after a while game facts. So,
Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
yeah, I
Pretty
never
good.
looked up walkthroughs. I looked up more the codes for like. I remember like Need for Speed. You had codes where you could look up and have the cars be like super light, like the traffic cars.
Yeah,
So
they
you
would
could
like
race and
fly.
hit them, and they would just take off like, or unlimited something about unlimited races or something. Because my parents put me on like an hour limit a day, so with loading screens, I had to maximize that time. Right, I'd pull up the game, put myself in a race, have it load, then go set the timer, and then come back and run the race backwards. Just keep doing laps so that I wouldn't have to end the race, load screen to get into a new race. That was my experience back then.
The first
Uh,
website I ever built was a cheat code website.
Oh,
Like
for
the
real?
Wow.
cheats. I modeled it after Cheat CC, like back in the 90s, because I was so obsessed with figuring out all the cheat codes. It was on GeoCities. It was not it was not popular.
I can't remember the sites that I used to use, but that's one thing kids today won't have as much enjoyment doing is that cheat codes were pretty awesome. Like
There's no cheat codes. Yeah.
there's really not cheat codes anymore. There's a few groups out there that
Cheat
do
menus.
like specialty modding, like where they make trainers that like enable certain code in the game to do certain things. But you have to be careful with those because sometimes they can get you in trouble. But yeah, no, kids won't. Unfortunately, they won't get to enjoy the like GTA cheat codes or Spyro or any of those, and that bums me out a little. But I used to use them all the time after
How about
growing up. My
the
brother
NBA
gave me a hard
Jam?
time one time about cheating, and I learned to beat the game first.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, they
NBA
won't
Jam, though?
know excitement.
Kind of worry about with
Yeah, the
younger,
NBA Jam cheat codes.
the
like
younger
head mode.
generation is I have my nephews who are playing like Majora's Mask, but my nephew told me that he literally had the walkthrough right beside him while he was playing through the game, and I'm like, no, that's cheating. You have to do it, and if you get really stuck, then you look at the walkthrough. But he's playing along with the walkthrough, so I just kind of,
Yeah.
what if the younger generation just kind of keep automatically defaulting to checking up online?
Or
Mhm.
like my oldest watches a lot. He used to watch a lot of YouTube, which we ended up taking away for normal reasons, but also a secondary reason was because it got to the point where I would put in a new game, and he's like, "Oh, I've seen it. I saw this on YouTube." And I'm like, "No, you're not supposed to know how to play through this game before I even know how to play through it because you've watched the whole thing."
That happened with
Yeah.
Luigi's Mansion.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, my son watched like tons of playthroughs, and he's like, "Oh, you just have to do this," and he already knew exactly how to beat the level.
Oh wow.
Had no idea.
Yeah, that is like a thing that kids these great days like have that we didn't is like they can just watch playthroughs because my son too, like on Amazon and YouTube, like he spends more time watching playthroughs of games than playing himself.
Yeah.
Interesting. Another
Yeah.
thing too is they also have mods. We didn't have like the mods that
Oh
they
yeah.
do. Let's
Yeah.
see. Do you guys feel like there should be a limit on screen time, or do you think screen time is basically the future?
Mm. I think to an extent it's the future. Like if we take it away completely, that I mean the future is they have to know how to, you know,
Mhm.
type fast on a keyboard. They need to know how to use a computer. I'm sure in the future, you know, using mobiles will be so integrated with all businesses and that they would need to know how to use mobiles and how to navigate through that. I think monitoring more social media would be something I'd be more concerned about because that's where things get, worrisome. There's a lot of bullying. Someone says something negative, then they take it the wrong way. That would be something I would be more concerned with is just social media, Twitter, Instagram, all that stuff.
The
Yeah.
places where
yeah.
toxicity is a little bit more prevalent.
But yeah, I think setting a good, you shouldn't be on the screen for X amount of time. One, because probably not great for your eyes, not great for your back sitting here, slouching, looking at the screen the whole time. Do other things, get outside, run around a bit, be a kid.
Yeah.
Y'all are making me think I should turn screen time on for myself.
Too late. For
No,
I think staying active is a big thing. Sorry, he's getting fussy. It's his bedtime.
Oh.
But I think staying active is a big thing. How you spend your like quiet time, I think, is less important.
Mhm.
But yeah, we're gonna take a time out.
no. Yeah, thinking about
Okay.
that, I really agree. Also, just because thinking about how like COVID and all of the kids having to do
Mhm.
a lot of their schooling from home, I think for those who don't necessarily have a lot of access to electronics, computers, or mobile devices, it might have been slightly difficult. Maybe for some kids, because I know that even my daughter, who's pretty like I don't know, console savvy and computer savvy, at least turning it on and using it, that could be a struggle. But I agree with the social media. I think that's a lot of where a lot of the supervision would be really prevalent just because there is a lot of bullying. Kids don't really understand that text has no oomph behind it, like when you're actually talking to somebody, and so things can often be misinterpreted, and so there's some fragility in that. But
Is your daughter on any social media?
no, so she has no social media. I mean, occasionally I'll let her look through my TikTok with my supervision, but that's kind of the extent of that. So no social media probably for a couple more years, and we actually have it set where she has 2 days a week where she has absolutely no electronics at all, and we spend that time either going out for walks or doing an arts and crafts or playing board games or something else that's completely unrelated to the TV, the computer, or anything like that.
Wow.
That
That's
actually
really good.
ties to another question. So when we were young, multiplayer was only local. So now that we game online and have Discord, do you guys worry about your kids being safe online, having to deal with toxicity, bullying, being treated a certain way because they're a girl, a gamer girl?
Nintendo. That's my
Huh?
answer. Basically, Nintendo will be Nintendo's going to be their video games until
Oh.
if it's up to me, because Nintendo's really good at keeping that all out of their games, any form of free chat.
Nintendo's great for that, for limiting the voice chat
Mhm.
or controlling the in-game chat with that, and they're really good with moderation. So I totally agree. Nintendo is definitely the go-to for kids. I would be concerned because um you know how online world can be. There's a lot of people love to battle a hit from behind a screen, so they would just say anything just to be, you
Mhm.
know, just to be a bully, just to say whatever they want to say, just to get under someone's skin. I would be concerned if my daughter was playing online and someone just saying something mean, and but at the same time, eventually, if she's old enough, you know, you eventually have to learn that there are these kinds of people out there in the online world. And when you're gonna go to school and when you're gonna work, there are people who are like that. They're just kind of bullies. They say things that you're not gonna like. And maybe it's just a way to open you up to the real world. Not everything is going to be buttered up. Not everything's going to be, not everyone's going to compliment you and say that everything you do is great, that you're
Mhm.
super duper and you're amazing, that there are people who are just going to be mean for the sake of being mean.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know, that's just, as parents, we just want to, you know, protect our babies from every evil in the world. There are babies. We don't want them to cry. We don't want them to be sad. But the reality is, you know, eventually along the line, they have to experience this. They're eventually going to get social media. They're going to get maybe comments that are not great. And they need to
Mhm.
learn eventually that there are people like this. Let it slide
Brush.
off,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
Don't pay attention to this. There are other great people in the world. Don't focus on that one negative comment. Focus on the uh, other great comments that there are.
Yeah. Yeah,
Focus
that's
on the
true. I
positive.
think as long as you make them aware of what's out there and teach them how to be safe and stuff and teach them how to deal with that kind of my son plays Roblox and stuff, but yeah, I just try to teach him as much as I can, and he mainly plays with friends, but
Mm.
I think I'll just kind of try to limit multiplayer as much as possible. But with Nintendo, it is great that like with Pokemon Unite, for example, there's like no in-game chat. Like, um, there's no way to like yell at other people. So when I mess up, I'm just like, I'm so glad that like they can't say anything to me. Because normally I play multiplayer with like friends. I don't really have to deal with that like online toxicity as much. Um, that like
That is what's
other
going to make it the greatest MOBA. The fact that there's no in-game chat, you can't yell at
yeah.
each other unless you're on a team together.
I'm like, "Ugh, I'm glad they can't say anything to me."
I will say, like, working, because I think maybe I have the oldest kid in the group here. For my daughter, because she likes to play Fortnite and games like that where there is in-game chat, I am incredibly grateful for the ability to mute so much. But I will sometimes leave in-game chat on for my daughter if I'm going to be playing with her, just so I can kind of like moderate how things are going, but also to kind of be aware to see how my daughter's reactions are, because not everybody is friendly, and I want my daughter to like, I want to raise her to be able to provide a positive experience for other gamers that she comes across in her life. And so not just moderating while I'm gaming with her, but also kind of talking with her and connecting and checking in with her interactions with kids at school or kids at daycare, or watching her at the park and how she interacts with kids there. That's going to transfer over to how she talks to people online and how she's going to be able to like handle if somebody's bullying her, being disrespectful too. So but yeah, super grateful for being able to mute chat, just because some days she might want a game, but she might not be in a great place to connect or necessarily communicate with folks. And so having that ability to mute or unmute and just kind of work with her on that, I think has been super helpful, because you're right, we're not going to be able to watch over them all the time, and they're going to have to learn their own lessons and learn that not everybody's going to like them, agree with them, respect them, and just kind of teach them how they can work through that, and so that they're protecting themselves in those situations.
Yes, I would say that's a great way to handle it, and just like be there, be there, so you can help them learn how to deal with certain situations.
I just berate them and make fun of them myself for now. Condition them, get them ready.
Get them settled into that.
Yeah.
How would you feel if your kids wanted to have a gaming related career?
Oh, I would definitely be supportive because I'm studying video game design myself now. and I'm trying to enter into the gaming industry myself. So I'd definitely be supportive if she wanted to go that route as well.
I agree, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't mind.
I'd be supportive of whatever they choose to do, as long as they're passionate about it. That's most important. I want them to be get into something because they're indecisive about what they want to do, and they're into it. Go for it.
Get me
Yeah.
some free games.
What if in high school they say, "Oh, like I don't think I want to go to college. I just want to be a full-time streamer or an e-gamer or esports."
Yeah.
Sorry.
Ooh. Oh,
Asking the hard questions. Here we go.
I
The
would be-
conversation about balance.
yeah.
I'm
And
I'm okay with it, because I was going to school to be for computer science, and then I started a band and had the conversation with my parents. I was like, I'm not continuing with college because we got a record deal and we're going on tour, and this is like what I want to do. And they were supportive, and I feel like that was the best choice for me at the time. And I felt like I was stagnated in school at the time anyway. Like, I felt like I was kind of progressing more outside of it than inside of it. I wasn't really learning much. They're all
Yeah.
yelling back there.
did you say
But yeah,
you said dropped out? They would want to drop out of high school?
no,
No.
like if like instead of going to college or
Instead of
like a
going to college.
university. Yeah,
Um,
I had finished 3 years of college, and then and then stopped, and so I never actually finished my degree. And because then after the music stuff, I ended up starting my own company, and so I never went back and finished. And I don't think that it's a bad thing if they're ready. It depends on where they're at.
It's
I
a
think
good
it would be good to show them the reality of it. You know, if they want to play video games, then you just can't go make a Twitch channel and expect that you're gonna have 1,000 viewers all at once. It takes time to build it, and it takes time to even make or see revenue that will happen. Here in where I'm from in Quebec, we have I guess it's kind of a mandatory college for a couple of years. It's designed to, depending on what field you want to go into, you have a couple years to really focus in on that. So it's mandatory-ish that we go through that. So I would hope that my daughter does do that, finish her college before deciding to go into university. That way she knows ultimately what she wants to get into. She has more insight into anything. And if at the end she says, I really want to do this, then you got to put in the work, but also be realistic of the fact that it's not going to end up how you may see. You're not going to maybe get all the viewers you expect. You may end up spending a lot of money on equipment like lighting and cameras and all this kind of stuff, and then you may wind up not getting as many viewers as you hope or any revenue at that.
Yeah, be realistic about it. We'll be right back after this restaurant.
I think that's a really good point. I think we can all probably relate in the fact that we started out streaming, and as we got ourselves involved with it, we spent more and more money trying to get ourselves where we wanted to be and be happy with the quality of our stream and everything. And being who we are, we have the opportunity to kind of give them that insight ahead of time to be like, hey, this isn't going to be an easy ride like you might think. Like, we've been working hard at it for a long time, and you can see, like, depending on where things are at, where they're at, right? But yeah, this is definitely an area that I think is a little tough. Like, I was fortunate enough to be brought up in a household that I learned a lot of tech skills over the years of my youth, and that kind of enabled me in a way where it was like I could leave high school and get ready to basically do what I wanted, knowing that I kind of had a fallback. And I think that's how I might treat it down the road, is that it's like, hey, that's a really great aspiration and I think you should go for it, sort of thing, but maybe also have yourself a backup skill. be ready for the possibility of having to work in a different field, because you might want to be passionate about something else too. And so, like, for me personally, I do a lot of IT and tech work and such, and so I'm a big fan of what I do as far as that goes. But this is something I'm more excited about doing on a daily basis, where I get to sit down and chat with people, play video games, do podcasts, whatever it might be. But knowing that I have tech to fall back on is something that I'm grateful for, because had I not,
Yeah.
I don't know what I'd be doing right now.
That's super important, especially for me now that I'm doing video game design school. I'm a US accountant, tax accountant, and I've been doing that for the past almost 10 years. So it just made it easier to go into video game design, because if that fails, I know I have taxes to fall back into. And it just made me a little more comfortable diving into that unknown. But I wanted to ask you guys who are all doing Twitch, if you suddenly got so many viewers and a lot of subscribers, would you leave your day job? Or would you be more afraid to leave your day job and rather just keep it just in case?
I mean, I personally would love the idea to be able to stream full time and quit my day job, despite how much I love my day job. But just given the way my life has been for like the last 10 years, for the most part, being a single mom throughout that, I would definitely not take the risk unless I was seeing seeing the growth stay, or whatever, over a certain amount of time. I would
That
definitely
consistency.
be like, oh yeah, consistency is important. I definitely went, oh, we had a really good day, I'm gonna put my 2 weeks in tomorrow. Like, never. Because I think it's really important in this kind of work, for those who do decide to take that leap, that maybe you have backup money, right, in case things don't pan out and you do need to go back to having a day job and just kind of doing this on the side. I think there's a lot that definitely would need to be planned out and looked at, especially thinking that if a parent was going to do that, right, our kids are getting older, which means that their needs are going to change, that our responsibilities to our children are going to be a little bit different, because maybe they're in sports or clubs or sleepovers and this and that and the other thing, and all of that's going to affect how you would be as a streamer as well, right? So yeah, I mean, someday that would be super cool, but definitely there's a lot of planning that would need to go in before that could happen.
I have a little bit different perspective. Is I kind of did that back in 2017. I did go full time, but it was in the content creation. It was before I was back into gaming, and I did do it full time. And it took, the other thing to think about is it took all the fun out of it. I was doing it for fun on the side, and it became like 10 times more stressful, and I ended up falling back into like I'm in marketing and design and everything, and so I it took me from California to New York and rejoining kind of the workforce and at an ad agency, to like it's slowing everything down to realize, like, refocus. And that's when I got into the gaming side. I was like, okay, I need to focus on what I really like and everything. So even if it does, are they just yelling back there? Even if they, okay, I can't tell what's coming through my my gate. Okay, but yeah, it's there's a lot even more than just the money side. It's the like passion and everything, to make sure that you don't, because if you burn out, you don't make money. And so like you have a lot more pressure on it too, than just having fun with it, which I didn't think about before switching to full time with the content creation. So but I kind of feel like I'm more prepared now in the future if I want to, having gone through that.
Losing the
Yeah,
fun would be a big setback. Yeah, I wouldn't like that.
Yeah, that's where I agree. I'm on Twitch, but I have the affiliation thing, and I haven't accepted it for a few months, just because I'm scared I'm just giving up my life to Twitch, and I'm afraid of playing video games will start to become a job rather than my fun time. You know, now what if I have a schedule and people expect me to be streaming at a certain time? There's sometimes where you just want to loaf on the couch or the bed and play a video game while you're, in your pajamas, and I don't want that to, I like having video games to myself sometimes, so I don't want it to feel like a job.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually have a side business. I sell colored contact lenses. Like, I have a little online shop, and there was like 1 or 2 years that I think I made more money from that than I made from my actual like full-time job. But even with that, like I have a pretty flexible job. It's really slow over the summers. It's only really busy like a couple months out of the year. So I'd probably just keep that job and try to like balance both. But I feel like I need a full-time job to like fall back on, because I feel like if I was just relying on myself, like I just like have a hard time staying motivated if it's just like all on me. I don't think I could ever be like a full-time content creator, because I feel like I just get burnt out. And I think I need like instant feedback. Like with work, you work and then you make money. Like you're gonna make that money. But with content creation, you don't know if you're always gonna make that money, and I just don't get that like automatic reward. Um, so I think it's just like harder to depend on it.
Yeah, for sure. And it's funny because I'm kind of in the process of shifting back into like my full-time, like my content creation business, where I just this week hired a contractor to like as an assistant to help out with day-to-day tasks to try to increase revenue and everything, because I did the same thing where I surpassed like my revenue from my full-time job with this, and so now I'm like, okay, let's keep it going, but I don't have enough time. I can't even find time to stream. I can't find time to do the stuff that I enjoy, because I'm doing a lot of tasks that I feel like I can hand off, and it's there's a lot of delegation and a lot of stuff that you have to like, a lot of hard decisions that have to be made to take those steps to grow bigger and bigger. That I think a big thing is a lot of people are afraid of letting go of some responsibilities that to be able to do that and take the risks that I'm gonna be putting out a lot more money into this in the hopes that it will grow. So we'll see. It's always a risk.
It definitely, but one that's been pretty fun so far.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's keeping it fun. I did it, and it didn't get fun, and so I'm trying to do it the right way this time.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, seeing us to enjoy it. Aaron, you have any thoughts?
I would be in no position right now to even consider that. So that's why I've been quiet. There's so many ifs, right? Like to me, I would think even if I had the views and everything, had a regular schedule, to me, I don't know if I could create content that long. Like eventually, if it would just die off, and then like I said, you're left with, you need a secondary plan to be able to jump right back into. And having a family already, there's not really much time. You're on a timer then. So I wouldn't even know where to start.
Yeah, I get burnt out too easily. Like even my Instagram, I have like my aesthetic Instagram. But even like there are periods where I'm good at like posting every day and keeping it up, but then other times where I'm just like, I don't want to touch it. But with a job, you don't have a choice. I just kind of do it mindlessly. But when it comes to like things I'm doing on my own, I get burned out more easily. Colette said, I think there's a reason a lot of these huge content creators are like high school age. They probably have more
Yeah.
energy. More
And
More
energy for
energy.
more
uh,
time.
like I saw that and I got to thinking for a moment, and I want to say that like probably the main partner that I know of that regularly, we'll see his kid pop up on screen from time to time. And I want to say he's around my age, and I'm a little over 30. But Graham Pooh Bear has a kid, and he's a full-time streamer for sure. I don't know anything beyond that as far as like his home life goes, and what his wife might do. But he makes it work, and I think he's a little bit of a different case, of course, because he's also like a renowned speedrunner of Super Mario. So like that in itself kind of has its own, perks that go along with it. But I think the biggest thing is like if you were to go out of your way to become a full-time streamer and make this into a career while still trying to maintain the fun, you would have to have a source of income from elsewhere. And I think that's where things like sponsorships from certain groups would make the difference there. I don't know if Grandpoo gets money from Red Bull, but he's sponsored by Red Bull, and I know that they've been throwing him on ads and stuff lately, and so it's like he's probably making money from that, and so that's the kind of thing that I think maintains. But
he definitely is.
Yeah. Okay.
If they're co-marketing with him, yeah, that's he's probably making more money from sponsorships than from streaming.
True. And he just mentioned that he was an ex-pro athlete. I forgot he was a pro snowboarder for a while until he got injured. So that
he probably see, yeah. Even like my history with the music industry helped me transition into like the influencer marketing industry. Just there's crossover between stuff like that if you have some sort of ins with people who are connected to corporations that are marketing, like it helps. And so I'm sure he saw that path, and yeah, that's a big one.
Yeah, definitely. I think that certainly would make the difference. But and if you got the following before you hit full time. But yeah, you're relying on a lot of what ifs, and that's something that I think like as a parent you got to think about your kids. You're making sure that you're bringing in what you need to, that sort of thing, and I imagine that's no simple task.
Yeah.
So what is one thing? Oh.
Go ahead. No, yeah, go ahead.
So if you could pick one thing that you'd like to see in the future of gaming that our kids could grow up with and we could enjoy for a little while, what would it be?
Cheat codes.
There it is.
Go back to that.
With big head mode and fun Easter egg cheat codes too, that you never know however they leak out to. You know what? Gaming magazines.
Yeah, actually, yeah.
That was my passion growing up. I subscribed to whatever I could find, and that when I wasn't playing games, I was reading gaming magazines. And I know they still exist, but I feel like they're hanging on by a thread, and I don't know if that's going to be around in the future.
Yeah,
Game Informer's still alive, but barely.
Put the pamphlets back into the cases with the hard copies of games.
Oh,
Yeah.
I
I
honestly
think
loved looking at those so much growing up, and
Yeah.
it's not a thing anymore.
It's not. That's sad, actually.
I think that's going to come back, though. Honestly,
I'd love
A lot of
to.
the indies are doing it.
yeah. If you follow all the other industries that have that went digital first and then started trying to come back to physical, they all start coming with like extra physical content. And I feel like gaming's going to turn that corner eventually, and you see it with the special editions and stuff. I think those are going to go heavier in the future because it makes them more money too. So it's natural that they even if it's just physical stuff with a digital game, because the game is not as it's doesn't make sense to make a physical game cost wise. But if they can
Yeah.
include all this physical content with the digital game, I think we're gonna see a lot more of that stuff.
Yeah, because
like,
a lot of us are collectors.
you know,
I know I miss
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Whenever I bought
that.
a physical game, that was like the first thing I did when I got home. It wasn't even put the game in. It was
in the
like
car,
YouTube.
like even on the
Yeah.
way home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
like
love
this had
that.
information about the characters in it. You could learn a little bit about the and kids today don't get this. Like you open up a Switch case anymore and it's like, oh, here's maybe a Nintendo code for points.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Maybe if you're
You
lucky.
get to learn more about the characters. You get to see the art. Like it's just so cute.
It didn't even need a tutorial because I knew all the controls by the time I got out of the car at home.
Exactly.
Now making me wonder if I still have some of this stuff.
I still have like all my PS1 games, all my Super Nintendo games. Well, actually, I don't have the manuals for all my Super Nintendo games, but like PS1, PS2, PS3, DS, I still have like all the cases and manuals.
I think almost all my GameCube games still have the pamphlets in them.
Yeah.
I think that might be it though.
I definitely had one of those like extra thick, kind of tall, not like full size book, but like pocket size book that was full of like cheat codes for different games and stuff. And they used to reissue those like every year with just more and more. And yeah, those were classic. That would be
Yeah.
great to have for the next gen.
Yeah. Anything else you guys bring back, or any new things that you'd like to see, and new technology or whatever?
All
Like
the
that
all the
one movie
all the 2D
Ready-
stuff, all the 2D stuff to be revamped. Like we talked about already, Link's Awakening. If they would do all the 2D Zeldas in that same Link's Awakening engine,
Oh,
I would love that.
Yeah.
There's already like they're redoing all the Dragon Quests, right, in the Octopath engine.
Oh,
Like,
nice.
that's coming up. So like if they could just take all those old school 2D pixel games and revamp them,
I love that.
that's what I would want.
That would be
Yeah.
really great.
On like genuine collector's editions that actually had like quality content to them instead of like, don't get me wrong, I think the statues that come with some of the games are super cool, like, but some of them are also really cheaply made. And did I mess up on spelling? Wait, sorry.
Meg isn't streaming right now, and he has like a
Oh.
different name for.
Yeah,
Oh.
my Twitch is just /Tynology. That's my one link that is not Tynology
that's
Gaming.
not
'Cause
Tynology.
I made it
Okay.
before I was before I made the gaming handles. I had a Twitch that I never used, and so I
Oh.
Thanks for
Gotcha.
letting us.
Yeah, thank you.
yeah, I didn't even notice.
Womp, womp, womp.
Thank you. Yeah, I think the other thing and Nintendo's still doing good with the couch co-op. I wrote an article like, I don't know, it must have been 10 years ago, about how I was bummed with the status, like the state of couch co-op. I called it was before the term couch co-op was a thing. It was like local co-op. About how I was bummed that so many, especially like split screen stuff, was gone. They didn't want to spend the dev time to do like split screen co-op stuff, like the original Halo and stuff like that. Like I missed that stuff, that it just didn't really exist, and I still wish that in the future stuff like that can exist, and it helps now with the Switch, because people like my kids could technically play on 2 Switches locally, but still not the same type of thing. And some way to recreate, or also online have a more immersive co-op experience, and that I feel like is coming around a little bit too, with like It Takes Two, and like some of those like more cooperative, like where you have to depend on each other, stuff like that. Just those types of experiences. I hope they expand upon those more, because that's what I felt like. My like 90s gaming experience was mostly cooperative games. I didn't do a lot of single player games. It was either co-op or like, 1v1, like with my friend growing up. And so having those experiences, I think, is key.
Yeah, when you mentioned like split screen, like Takes Two is like the first one I thought of. That was amazing. Definitely want to see more like that.
Yeah, co-op stuff I think is huge that I grew up
Mhm.
on.
I agree. I think the other one I was thinking of is A Way Out was also
Yeah,
a great game to co-op with somebody else.
Oh,
Very
yeah.
interactive. You
Sa-
can't beat it
same
without the other one being, you know.
the same developer, right? As It
Yeah.
Takes Two. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Mhm.
think
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, they nailed it.
Yeah.
Whatever method that was, they nailed it.
Yeah, the formula.
Mhm.
Yeah, after I played It Takes Two, I played A Way Out, and I hope they make more. Hopefully,
I
I
do
think
too.
ended
Oh,
up
I'm
being
sure
really
they
popular.
will. I think they got a lot of attention from those.
Well, and like imagine too, how many people out there, consoles aren't getting cheaper. We've seen all of the consoles that that are out right now are the same price, and some of them are insanely hard to get a hold of. And imagining like buying a Switch for yourself and then buying a Switch for your kids too, just so you could play some games together, like that's kind of tough. I would prefer it happens, but it's tough because then you have to have both just to be able to do something like it'd be awesome. For example, like there's a group of us that get online and play Pokemon Unite. We've been talking about that a little bit, and it's kind of a bummer that for some of us we can't just like couch co-op it. We have to have our own Switches to be able to even join and do that. But yeah, for some stuff it makes sense, but more games like that for being able to sit there with your kid and get to play something fun.
Can I rag on Nintendo real quick,
Sure,
because
yeah.
I know we've been pushing. I love Nintendo, but the way they handled the Super Smash Brothers online whole setup is horrible, because I like it's fine online, but me and my son were trying to play two other people, and they were on separate Switches, but you can't have two people on the same Switch play online with other people at all. And so we had to play on each of our separate Switches to play anyone else, which it didn't make any sense. And I feel like I think even the Wii U Smash, you could do that, and they removed it from Smash Ultimate. I don't know. I spent like 2 hours trying to we're trying to figure out, because it just didn't work, and it is a huge issue.
Super Mario Maker 2, I don't know if they might have changed it, but like I've been over to Aaron's house and we tried getting online, and you can't do two-player like
No,
locally.
yeah, that's same thing. Yeah, you can't play online if you have two people locally. Yeah.
Silly.
I agree that that's something Nintendo's very bad about, is that their online function. It's getting better in some regard, but for the most part, like I hear people complain about SMM2, Smash Bros. Basically, any of the ones that do have online functionality, they're very short in
I
the
assume
list
Mario
of
Kart
features.
is probably the same way. I haven't played we haven't tried to play Mario Kart together online, but same with Super Smash and Super Mario Maker. Both had issues playing
trying to
co-op
remember.
and also online.
I think Mario Kart might be one of the few that does have at least like split screen multiplayer, but I'm not positive. But also, Nintendo's notorious for being the one where like Mario Party came out with limited functionality for the online mode. It was just mini games, and then finally a year and a half later, they come out with the full blown.
Yeah,
but everybody has to own a copy of the game in order to do it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Fun Nintendo tangent.
So what
That
are
just
your guys
reminded me.
with streaming?
Say that
Say
again.
that again.
What are your guys' goals with streaming?
For me, it's just to get better at it. That's not. I feel like it's not my strength. I'm a writer and producer of videos, and so that's why I started with YouTube, and Twitch was kind of like the natural progression because I was playing games anyway. And you have a Game Boy? Okay. Oh, he wants to show us. So, but yeah. Oh, sorry. It's coming up. Yeah. Just you don't push that away. You just I want to be better at on the fly conversation and interaction and stuff like that, and then grow naturally with that. But I know that producing videos and producing photos and everything is my strength, and so I'd like to get better ultimately.
Sure.
As an auxiliary.
Oh, for
can
me,
you
I'm,
also-
I'm
when
sorry.
you're done, can you guys put all your links in the chat?
Oh yeah.
Our Twitch links.
All your
Okay.
links
Yeah.
on Twitch.
Whatever
go ahead.
socials. Yeah, feel free to just blow them up in chat there.
Okay.
Or when you're done talking.
I was gonna say I'm notoriously bad with Twitch. I'm not great at advertising. I honestly just love playing games, and I joined Twitch just because I loved recording my gameplay just so I could look back at it, and just meeting you guys and everyone in the community, just interacting with you guys who not just play, you don't just have to play the same game as me. Just when I pop into you guys' streams, it's just a good time just to chat with you, and you guys popping into mine, and we just chat about stuff. Just, I think that for me, the community is my goal. I don't really care about who knows when I'll accept my affiliate. Maybe tomorrow, maybe never, but
I
I
want
think
your channel points. I want your channel points.
Oh, I'm sorry, Psycho. Petals, 1 sec.
That's okay. That's okay.
Silly thing.
Yeah, so I just love interacting with the community and making friends, and you know, just meeting all you guys, meeting Tyler and Nettie and Liz, and through all you guys, I met so many amazing people, not just gaming, but artists as well, because I'm doing art, and it just opened up this whole new world of other people I could interact with. So I feel like my goal has been surpassed. I can't ask for anything more. I feel like I don't need tons of viewers. I don't need tons of followers. I'm just happy with meeting you guys and having fun, playing games with you guys. That's my goal. It's been met.
Can I change?
Aw.
Can I change my answer to Sally's answer? That was much better.
Damn it, Nightbot, be nice.
Thank you, Sally.
I think my goal with streaming, like originally, because when I first started, I'll admit I wasn't in a great place, and I had been losing my love for gaming, which was so weird because I'd been gaming like my entire existence pretty much. And so I started streaming just hoping that I might meet a couple people, maybe some people who wanted to play some games with me, and that's kind of like the extent of it. I didn't know anything about the affiliate program. I didn't know anything about Partner. I didn't know anything about OBS or slobs or any of that stuff. I just kind of winged it from my Xbox and my couch. And ultimately, though, I've met a lot of really amazing people along the way. The only reason I even have a gaming computer right now is because someone in the community really believed in me, and they started a GoFundMe, and then everyone kind of participated, and it was super beautiful, and I'm completely honored. I never in a million years thought that was gonna, like, that wasn't even in my scope at all. So at this point now, for me, what streaming really means in my community is just being able to give people a place where they can go and they can be themselves, and it's somewhere safe to talk about gaming or talk about, whatever it is that they want. I actually do have a couple people in my community who call me mom, and kind of think of me as their internet mom, which is super flattering, and I love them all. So that's kind of just like, for me right now, sure, like the end goal might be different, But for now, it's pretty much just having a place where people can come together and play games and enjoy gaming and geeking out about whatever makes them happy.
Dig
Love
it.
it.
So maybe one day I'll get back into it. I need to get the time. I need the kids to get a little older. And I like what Cuddles was talking about, how her daughter does streams with her. I'd love to do that as they get older, be able to have them kind of as a second or third player playing in the background.
Mhm.
But yeah, that's where I'm at now.
Yeah, same here. I think it'd be really cool if one day maybe I'll stream with my kids.
Be fun,
Right
right?
now, yeah. Right now as a streamer, I don't know. I just want to continue hanging out with my friends, meeting new people, gaming with my friends, and just be consistent enough to continue streaming and not ever stop.
Yeah.
Yeah. Enjoy it. Okay, that's pretty much all the questions I have. Do you guys have any other questions you want to ask anyone?
Anything to
Or
add? Yeah.
any topics you want to bring up?
Oh, how about love life with kids and gaming? Nobody.
Right.
Okay, so I'll share. So I had mentioned that when I started streaming, I wasn't in a great place, and admittedly, I was in a pretty toxic relationship. It was actually through streaming that I met some really great people, and I ended up having the courage to leave that relationship. So that was super great for me and my daughter. And then I was single for a while, and actually somebody I met playing Monster Hunter World is who I'm dating now. And
Wow.
yeah, and he supports my streaming. He streams when I can convince him to. And but yeah, so it was rocky at the very beginning for the first couple of years, but it's much better now.
Ooh,
Okay.
that's really cool.
Yeah, no, that's it. The way that the community works around here, it's crazy how much it really has actually helped a lot of people. So I'm glad that worked out that way. That they were supportive in such a way that it gave you what you need, the courage you needed to get out of that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we definitely try to utilize my space, my Discord, as a safe space for anyone to kind of talk about. Of course, there's limitations. None of us are professionals. We're not clinicians. We make it very clear that there are some topics that are, we don't talk about. But if we're having a bad day, it's nice to be able to utilize that space so people can talk about it. And when I had the courage to do it, I did. And my community was super supportive of that. So it was... Streaming is so much more than what I signed up for, and I'm here for every minute of it.
In a way, I think a
Yeah,
lot of
I
us
started-
thought it was going to be easier.
Right, you just
I
turn the
started
computer
streaming-
on and play some games,
Yeah.
right? Like, that's it.
Yeah.
I started streaming early last year, and for the first good half year, I was just enjoying spending time with my friends and gaming with them and stuff. And I wasn't even really on dating apps anymore because I was just busy having fun with them. But mid last year, I got close to another streamer, so we're together now. Found
Ooh.
love on Twitch.
Who's
Aw.
that, Liz?
Y'all follow
Shall
her
remain
socials, you
nameless.
know.
I actually started. I started all this when I was still married, and the kid's mom it was always supportive of the whole gaming thing and everything, and she understands that, especially, sorry, this Game Boy. He was on the phone with the Game Boy. That especially my oldest, he has a passion for gaming. He's obsessed with Zelda and Roblox and Minecraft, and so she makes sure that's all good. I don't really talk about my personal life much outside of the marriage, and so because it's all kind of new, and so he wants everyone to see that.
Mhm.
He's playing the Tamagotchi game that I showed off on the last.
Ooh,
It's
so cool.
it's all in Japanese, and but yeah, it's yeah, I guess that's kind of it. It's all about being supportive and
Yeah.
and everything. Yeah, that's me.
Yeah, I can't think of any other questions either. You guys answered a lot of really great stuff. It's really good to kind of get a perspective on how it is for those of you, you know, that are obviously parents and stuff. Being not one myself, it's definitely something to think about now.
Yeah, if there's anyone in chat who gonna be
Yeah.
a parent soon and they're a streamer,
Take note.
we can make it.
No. See, it's possible, right?
Hmm?
We could stream, play games, then be parents.
The people below
Yeah.
me and to the side of me here, they all are doing this while working, while having kids, while having a love life. They're all streaming still, and so you know it's doable if you're passionate enough about being here. It's something that you can still make happen.
Yep.
If you know, you know, Keezus. Sorry. No, he'll find out soon enough.
I actually do have a question
Please.
for other parent streamers. Just because I'm curious if anyone feels comfortable enough with sharing. But has anyone with streaming and parenting, and like our lives are super busy, right? We're trying to be there for every like moment of our kids' life and things. Have any of you dealt with any kind of guilt with streaming and like making time for that, and you know, also being a parent? Like, am I missing out? Like, am I spending too much time? Like, does anyone have any experience or feel comfortable talking about like guilt for, you know, being a parent, but also like wanting to engage in your own hobbies, including streaming?
Yes, for sure. Sorry, Liz.
You go ahead.
I was just gonna say, yeah, for sure. It's twofold with me. Like my oldest, he's really into gaming right now, and so I kind of lean into letting him play a little bit. But it's also like the screen time thing is something that I try to be aware of to make sure that I offset it with, you know, other stuff. And hey, go, bud. He's yelling back there. And then the other side is like, you have that guilt of like, am I prioritizing myself over my kids, and you know, with what my like needs are right now. And it's a balance for sure. And so that's a lot of times why, especially with streaming for me, because I feel like that's kind of like the lowest priority in terms of all of my like personal endeavors. And so like, especially because when I like start a stream, I want to make sure that I am committed to that stream, and so I want to make sure that I won't be needed by my kids. And so I usually try to stream when I either don't have them or way after they go to bed, so that like only in case of emergency. Like I think it's happened one stream where this one woke up like an hour into the stream. I was like, sorry, we're out, like we're done, and I don't want to. Hey, but turn that down. Sorry. And so yeah, I definitely feel that like on multiple levels, both like when I put time for myself. I mean, that's kind of universal. Like if I make time for myself, you have that little tinge of guilt. Like, am I not? Should I be doing this for this time? Spending this time either with my kids or for my kids? It's kind of, I feel like it crosses a lot of different areas in life.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Yeah. No, that's a great question.
Yeah.
Like I said, a lot of times that like when I stream is at nighttime after the kids go to bed. But sometimes I feel like I do kind of rush like putting the kids into bed. Like like I could be taking more time to read them longer stories, or sometimes they're like, can you stay longer in my room, or can I sleep in your bed? And I'm like, no, like I need to stream. Like I've been with you guys all day. Like this is my time now. Like get in bed. But I do feel guilty after, and it's hard. But I feel like even with other, like if we weren't streaming, we could be doing other hobbies also. Um, so I think all parents would have guilt over something, but it is also important to take time for ourselves and do what we enjoy. So
Yeah,
that
Like
way we can have good
the
mental health for ourselves.
yeah, the other thing is like there's a lot worse things that you could be doing. Like you could be out, you know, getting into trouble, and so like if you measure everything that could be taking time from your kids, this is a pretty minimally destructive one in the grand scheme. And so I think that the perspective is important too. Like to like some people like require their
Mhm.
like their self-satisfaction, like just like uh maintaining their own self like happiness other
Yeah.
much more destructive ways. And so I feel like that perspective is important too, to not beat up on yourself
yeah.
too much.
Like
Yeah, but
Liz said, I think sometimes for us being parents, we do focus a lot on the kids, and we forget so much about our own hobbies and taking care of ourselves. And I think it is great to carve out time for yourself for hobbies that are so, to the outside world, it may seem like, hey, they're goofing off playing video games, but to us, it's, alone time we get to spend with our friends, and it's time
Mhm.
to ourselves. And it's so, I think it's really necessary to, especially as a new mom with a baby, it's so necessary to have that time to yourself and not be around constantly doing baby things and preparing meals and tending to the baby all the time. Just to have uh, interactions with other adults and other parents, it's so necessary for your mental well-being.
yeah, my wife
Yeah.
and I we've
Um,
actually talked about that a lot recently. Is kind of like what we were talking about with our generation, right? Our generation's the first generation kind of with this whole streaming gaming atmosphere. So it's a new hobby, right? So while generations before us, they all look at it and they're like, oh, they're just playing video games, right? They don't look at it. It is another hobby. It's the same as, right, when we were kids, our parents went out and did things with other adults and found a babysitter, right? It's the same thing. You're just doing it at home, and your community is through the internet. It's just a new thing, I think, and I think it's just a pain point in society that we'll get used to it after a while.
yeah.
BRI, we actually did kind of cover that question a little bit earlier, and you might have picked up on a little bit of it here too. But to just kind of like summarize what was essentially said across the board is that most of them here have got their schedule set up in such a way that it's usually like in the evenings when they stream, in order to maintain like their daytime hours with their kids. And then as far as like balancing things with love life, I kind of have a feeling that falls somewhat in line with the same thing as like basically the evening time is when you guys get around to being able to stream and such, right?
Mhm.
So
Yeah, I feel like like sorry, hold on. The love life thing is probably the love sorry. The love life thing is a bigger conflict of interest to streaming than the kids, because the kids are pretty consistent, and uh like
Date
in
another
terms
streamer.
of nighttime. What?
I said just date another streamer.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's a good idea.
I actually know a good amount of like Twitch couples now.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
it seems like it. Sorry, it seems to be happening more and more.
That's really
Yeah.
you
One day
know
I'll probably do an episode.
Yeah, in a really weird roundabout way, this platform also kind of became a little bit of like a low-key dating service, sort of, because I've seen a lot of people meet new people through Twitch, and then end up meeting up in real life and getting together, and it's pretty wild. But yeah, I imagine that could be a topic at one point.
That's amazing.
It wasn't intended that way, but it worked out.
Well, it's like kind of like
It's-
online dating. Why not?
it's common interests.
Yeah.
Nothing
Yeah.
else. It's a deeper level connection than just seeing photos of the best possible photo of someone that they can pick out for themselves.
Right?
From
Yeah,
5 years ago.
seeing them live.
Well,
Yeah,
like,
or a blind date at a bar.
with online dating back in the day and stuff, you'd see people build out these profiles with like all their interests and everything, but you didn't know that if any of them were true. With Twitch, you absolutely know that they enjoy gaming because they wouldn't be here otherwise, or whatever they may be streaming, right? But yeah, it's being able to see it for real. At that point you like start building that foundation of like, oh yeah, we're interested in the same thing. Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
It's not even just significant others, but like a lot of the people I've met on Twitch have become my best friends. Like some of them I see pretty often in person. A lot of them, like Plains is one of the people that I game with pretty much like almost every day.
We talk to each other
Along
pretty
with-
much every day.
Yeah, so I feel like with the way Twitch is and with Discord and just the internet and like the access that we have, like it's so easy to just really develop strong bonds with people and even become closer with them than like people that we might know in real life.
Well, and to add on to that, it's kind of interesting because, as I mentioned, like I didn't really know what I was getting into this when I started. And I would, like post on my personal Facebook when I would be going live or what I was doing. And not really, not a lot of my friends or people on my personal Facebook are gamers or watch streams or anything. But I actually ended up connecting and growing incredibly strong friendships with people who I'd gotten distant with because they did start coming by my stream and they're like, actually, I play video games too, but we'd never played together. And then they both started their Twitch channels and now they're both blooming and playing games, and we're all like connecting so much closer than we ever did, knowing each other just in person, going to school, or having met somewhere else in public and in life. So that was kind of a weird thing for me too, is I didn't realize it was actually going to make me closer with people I'd become pretty distant with.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's amazing. Okay, does anyone have any other questions?
Yeah, any other questions from chat or anybody obviously in here with us right now? All right.
I was muted. No, I do think that's a good point about the your old friends and stuff, because I get a lot of people coming back like, hey, then like I game too. I think that's something like, I don't know. I was from the MySpace generation, so sorry, and my child. As soon as I unmute my mic, he wants to talk. But yeah, the same thing with. He's fighting with my Game Boy. He wants the batters out.
Aw, can I imagine adding a kid on top of them fighting the will to stay awake? Coffee. Sarah.
Coffee, energy
yeah.
drinks.
Yeah.
I mean, shoot, I'm with you, Cosmic. Like, I don't have kids, but I still find it difficult because I stream usually like around 8 o'clock in the evening, and by like 10 o'clock, I'm like, all right, I can do this. Just another hour. It's
I alternate with my husband every day. So, one day he would get up to do the first feeding and then I would sleep in, or vice versa. So every other day I would be able to sleep in till 9, 10 o'clock. And that would be I need that. I need that sleep to go on for the rest of the night.
I'll admit having an older child definitely has its perks, because when I started streaming and she was younger, we were up at 7 o'clock sharp, and it didn't matter if my stream ended
Oh,
at
yeah.
4 a.m. or not. Like, we were up at 7, and it's just is the way it was. And now that she's like older and can get her own cereal in the morning and watches her Disney Plus or whatever, she lets me sleep in. And sometimes I do get to like sleep until like 9:30 or 10, and it's so that helps.
I'm sure.
I've got to look forward to.
Yes, you do. It's there, I promise.
Oh man, now it's 6 a.m. on the dot. 6
Yeah.
a.m. every morning.
Sal, if you're having more, get them done quickly. I had the bad timing of 4 years apart. As soon as one became less needy, the new one arrived, and he was the cycle started all over.
Once
Oh,
they're all
boy.
potty trained, the next one comes around.
Exactly. Oh,
No,
I
my
was gonna
shop
say-
my shop is closed. My shop is closed. We have a dog and a baby. That's it.
Done.
Yeah, I was gonna say having two little ones and like not having a partner, it's really hard, but at least they can like having two also kind of benefits because they can just keep each other busy and
Yeah.
if I'm not there to give them the full attention at times, then they can just play together.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that would
Well.
make it work. But yeah, thank you all for being here.
Hopefully we
Yes.
convinced everyone to become parents.
it's tempting, right? Tempting, right?
Right. So tempting.
I have
It's
I
fun.
have a Game Boy Color with my credit card stuck in the battery pack. So that's not
Oh,
Yeah, I
man.
will say when I
Oh.
first started, a lot of my streamer friends didn't have any kids, so I did kind of feel like alone with being like the one who was a parent.
Mhm.
But like it's so great to like have met all of you guys and
Oh, yeah.
at least like we know that we're not alone. And if we have any questions or need someone to relate to, we can just always hit up each other.
Oh, for sure. Yeah,
Awesome.
I'm glad I got to meet all of you guys. Well, virtually meet all you guys. Maybe someday I'll meet you guys in person someday.
Yeah, we need an all big meetup in like Oklahoma or something. We're all over
In the middle? In the middle, yeah.
right. Wherever the shortest flights for everyone is.
And I guess we'll also have to wait and see when the next TwitchCon's gonna happen.
Oh yeah.
I'm sure it's not too around the corner yet, especially since they got GlitchCon going on now, and know that they can do everything remote. But hopefully, we'll get to see a TwitchCon at some point, be able to all meet each other there too. Because I'm sure some of us are, if not all of us, are pretty interested in trying one of those out at some point.
Where is TwitchCon usually take place?
The last two were listed for Amsterdam and San Diego, California, but both of those got canceled because of the pandemic, and so they've been. The GlitchCon is, I believe, been announced for November 14th this year. But of course, GlitchCon is just on Twitch. So, but yeah, hopefully they'll have some new announcements of locations. They tend to go for the bigger cities where a lot of those conventions typically happen. So I imagine we might see one in Seattle at some point. Maybe Vancouver, BC. Yeah, we'll see. Somewhere nice, hopefully.
I'd be down to go to those places. I grew up in San Diego, so I know all about all the conventions coming to San Diego, and so they push hard to get. I would be surprised if Twitch doesn't get back in there.
They may just reschedule, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh. But yeah, thank you guys again so much for joining us today. We've got obviously to my right is Liz. Is that right on my screen? Yeah, I guess it is. Liz, and then Mashed Egg. Psycho Cuddles down below. Retro Arcade Party there in bottom middle, and Technology Gaming there on the far right. And we had a blast having you guys on today. This has been really insightful and really cool.
super fun.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Liz.
You. Yes. Okay, well, everyone make sure to follow them on their socials.
Yeah, check
And,
chat for their Twitch links, socials as well, and keep an eye out for the next episode of CounterCharm podcast.
yes, we'll be putting
Thank
this episode up
you.
on YouTube. It's under CounterCharm podcast. So, yeah.
Let me throw
Thank
a
you,
link up on
everyone.
that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. All right. We'll catch you all next time. Thank you again for joining us, and I'm gonna drop a link for CounterCharm podcast YouTube here in the chat in a moment. But we're gonna head to the ending screen, and we'll catch you all next time. So thanks y'all for joining us today. This has been awesome.
Thank
And
you.
cheers.
Bye.
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 Bye.